That's the legend of Geronimo's cave. All right, I've been thinking about this for a while. Last time I come up here, I remembered back, had to be, you know, 35 or more years ago. I came up and I hiked across the river. It was during the winter time. The river is fairly dry. And I'd always heard about this cave up here. They called it Geronimo's Cave. And I decided, man, I hadn't been up here for years and years. I'd like to go take a look at it again. And I got on the internet and I found some videos of some guys who had hiked up here to it. But they all do the same thing. You got to wait until they let the river down here in the wintertime because of the irrigation. They shut the dam off and it doesn't flow anymore, and you can walk across it. Or you can drive a buggy across it, and or you can ride your mule across it if you want to. It's not quite dry enough yet to drive across or hike across or ride your mule across. I mean, there's places where you could probably do it, but always bothers me getting in one of those bogs, you know, and get your mule bogged down. But anyway, I thought, you know, why not see if I can go over the top and come down to it? So what I did is I got my Onyx maps out. I got it on my computer. And what's really cool, well, I studied the terrain, and there's some private property of some guys back in here, and they live in there, and they keep the gate locked down below. And they're kind of funny. They don't like anybody going through there. And, you know, for the most part, I don't blame them. But I looked at it and I thought, man, I think I can go over the top and drop back down. I looked at two different routes. And what's really cool with the Onyx maps, you can change it to 3D, and you can look at the, you know, how steep the hills are and the elevation, all that kind of stuff. So I looked at two different routes. I decided on this one. It's going to be pretty tough. You know, I could cross the river, but you know, I want to see if I can do it this way. Besides that, I got some dogs with me, and you never know what they might find. So yeah, I got up. I didn't get up. I got up early. I didn't leave early. There's really no need to. It's only, I drove, I don't know, probably about, it can't be no more than 10 miles from the house, maybe 15, into this same big old canyon I always go to. But I saddled up old Big Agnes, my mule. I haven't rode her in a while. I haven't.
Onward and upward.
This is the first time in 8 days I've been able to ride. I had that heart thing. They made me, they did a procedure on me, what they call a catheter ablation. And they went in my heart and ablated these electrical pathways or PVCs or whatever it is I had. But I wasn't supposed to do anything for 7 days. Anyway, here I go. I'm gonna go on up. You can see right there. I gotta go up, not over. I gotta go up this canyon. There's a saddle there. I'll bear to the left and go over through it, go down, climb back up. I won't go to the very top of the big mountain. I'll cut off to the left and fall down. And that cave is right over there. Like I said, I've been to it before. So, we'll see. Look at that, there's a trail that goes right up through there. think I can work my way right up the side of that mountain right there. Right up on top. And then it's gonna flatten out. And then I'll hit a beeline for the big mountain. I think Geronimo was born like in 1826, 27, 28 or something like that. And then I think he was married young or whatever they do in their tribe to marry. But they were true nomads. They traveled all through southern New Mexico and southern Arizona, and they lived off the land. And they moved whenever they had whenever they needed, they depleted their resources in that area, they'd move. So they were true nomads. But they used to go down into Mexico, down by Chihuahua, and trade with a village down there. And that's what happened, is they went down there and they were trading, went down there to trade for goods. I don't know what they traded for, but anyway, the Mexican army raided their camp while they were gone. The men used to go into town, and then the women stayed in camp. Well, the Mexican army raided their camp and killed everybody. Killed their kids, killed their women, everything. So they killed Geronimo's wife and his daughters, I think, and his mother. That's how it started. Geronimo started, he didn't, it was warring with the Mexicans. They didn't have any trouble with the whites until later on. I guess they were, some kid had been killed and they blamed the Indians on it or something, or been kidnapped or something like that. And then when they were negotiating, the whites, the United States Army, killed some Indians. So that started that. So then they started fighting with the whites. And I guess, I don't know about what their culture is, how they marry or whatever, but they said that Geronimo had quite a few wives, and I guess had a bunch of kids. And the chief, they were the Chiricahua Indians, and the chief was Mangus Coloradus, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not real sure. And then Mangus's son-in-law, I think, was Cochise. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read. So Indians always kind of fascinated me. I mean, they lived off the land, and they were tough, double tough. Those are why you wear chaps or leggings. I wear leggings. Look at them. They can scratch you up pretty bad. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go over the top of that. I'm gonna have to skirt around and try to stay off private property. I'll look on my Onyx maps. It's pretty accurate, but I think I can skirt around that mountain and never get on private property. And yeah, hopefully nobody says anything to me. It's beautiful. Just think, Geronimo and their tribe, they moved through this country, right through here, probably rode right down through here before. Because right down there on the highway is Fort Selden. And that's where the troops were, the cavalry or whatever you call them. They say it was Confederate troops that came through there and that stayed there. And then that was the beginning. Oh, that dog found something to trail, of course. That was the beginning of the Camino Real, or the Coronado del Muerto, Camino Real, whatever, the journey to the north that went up that way. I'm gonna ride that on my mule one of these days. I'm gonna take off with a pack mule and go that way. Anyway, I better move these dogs before they trail us up a line and catch it. And see how the mule looks like that? She's seen something over there. Oh well. I better go. I came down off of there. I think I'm gonna sit down right over there in the shade and have me some breakfast right there. Just saying, Geronimo probably came right up this canyon before. I'm sure he did. Agnes just stands there. Whoa, Agnes, take it easy. Go right up through there. Be a good climb. We can do it, Agnes. Here we go. Which way do you think, Agnes? Let's try to climb up a little bit. Rode a ways, then I decided I better walk. I'm fixing to ride again. Oh no. I'm one canyon over. It's all right. I can go right up through there and across. And then I'll avoid the private right down there. Whew. I can ride up through there. I could have rode that. I don't take any chances. Both me and Agnes are pretty soft. I think I'll go right to the head of this and then I can jump across and then work my way along that ledge right there and then top out. But I don't know what it's like on the other side. I'd rather just ride on across, and I got to go that way anyway. The only option would be if I get over there and I can't go, I got to go up again. Which I can do that. I don't want to. I'd rather just side hill on down and then I can find the way to the cave. What do you think, Agnes? Think we can make it down through there? As long as I lead you and you don't have to carry me. I think we can. It'll be steep, but once we get down the bottom, it's ice cream ground. Then you can carry me, okay? Is that a deal? When we get down to the bottom, we get on flat country, you can carry me, okay? Don't look away from me like that. See how that thing zigs like that and zags and goes down? That's an old trail. The Fort Selden, the old cavalry fort, is right over that way. Right there, matter of fact. It's straight across that way. I bet this is the old trail. This is how they used to top out up here. And it's just erosion has just got it. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna take it, just like Geronimo did. Now who would put a fence right in the middle of my path? I can jump over it. It's already down everywhere. So what I do is I just take those loose wires that are down and I roll them around themselves. That way it's just all together and there's not a chance of her sticking her feet in between them. That's why it gets you in a jam. And don't ever look back. I don't ever look back. All right, all we gotta do is work our way across these flats and hit that tall ridge right there. And that cave's right up in those bluffs somewhere. We'll find it. Can you get a mule in there? I think you can. We'll see. I'm gonna lead you the rest of the way, Agnes. Let me lead her. She's worn smooth out. Well, Geronimo's a lot better shape than we are, and their ponies were probably in better shape. This is pretty steep. I don't know how you can get a horse in there. Skinny horse, maybe. Oh yeah. Look at that. What do you think, Agnes? It's cooler in here. I hope you can turn around in here. Whew. Can you turn around, Agnes? Don't fall down. Agnes, get right back up here. Not right there. Look at that. She can turn around. She don't like caves either. Ooh. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Okay. The legend of Geronimo's cave. The legend is that the soldiers Agnes don't like caves. The soldiers from Fort Selden, they chased Geronimo up into this cave. That's how it got its name. Well, he went into this cave and they came in looking for him. They never could find him. So the legend is that and I'm too big. Geronimo wasn't a very big man. But I've seen guys who've gone way back in there. But I guess if you just go and keep going, you can pop out on the other side of the mountain. And the soldiers tried, but they couldn't figure out how to get through there. I guess you get back in there and there's a maze of stuff back in there. But yeah, Agnes is leaving me. She don't like caves. I don't know why. She wants grass, that's all. But anyway, that's the legend of Geronimo's cave. I'm gonna try to go back in there a little ways. Excuse me, Agnes. Oh yeah, there's a big moon back there. No. I ain't scared of heights. I'm not scared of a lot of things. And it's really not that I'm scared. I just get claustrophobic. I start feeling real drawn in tight. Look at that. I made it. Look at this thing. It's cool. Onward and upward, huh? Gonna go to the top of this mountain. It's a place I've camped at before. It's not the top, it's right in a big old saddle. We'll go up there and see what it's like. You know, with everything going on in the world today, being prepared and having a place to get away to, and the means to do it, I think is pretty important. Having a place of refuge, a camping spot, remote camp, somewhere where social unrest might not be as pronounced. Besides, there's something about disconnecting, escaping, and going off grid and getting remote. It's a lot of fun. So today, I'm gonna go check out this remote bug out camping spot. I've been there once before. So come right along with me, enjoy the Southwest Wilderness Desert. Here we go. Onward and upward. I got up this morning kind of wondering where I should go. I need to see some different country. I need to get up higher. And this is still desert, but at least they have trees up here. You know, there's certain things that I have to have. You know, it has to be the right spot. So I thought, I remembered I'd been up here and I'd camped up here one time. So I thought, well, I'll go up here and see what it's like. I know If all the guy wanted to do was hunt lions, this would probably be as good a spot as any place. Whew. Man, I'm pretty soft after that heart deal. Anyway, I left from the house, drove up here. Takes me about an hour and a half. But I brought a pack mule too. I brought Ruth. Don't really need her today, but she needs to get used to going. I need to get used to taking her. And she's out of shape. She's like the rest of us. So this is all good exercise for, you know, it's like anything else. The more you do it, the more proficient you become at it. It's like saddling Agnes. Heck, I can saddle Agnes with my eyes closed. And I mean, I'm still pretty used to it. I've packed quite a bit, really. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more it becomes second nature. The faster you get, the more proficient you get. Look at that. Not a moment too soon. You see that right there? Do you know what that is right there? That's the mounting rock. They put that there just for old men like me. Ooh, right there is perfect. Ooh. Another tip. Just cinch them up snug. First thing, and then, after you go down the trail for a ways, tighten them up. Or after they've sat there for a while, you can also do it then. I gotta put this camera down. I can only do so many things with one hand. This is good lion country. I'm gonna ride right off, drop down into this canyon, work around that canyon, and then work my way up to the top into that big saddle up there and have a look around there. See if there's water. I gotta see if there's water down the bottom of the canyon, because that's a prerequisite. I have to have access to water. I don't want to pack water. I want to have a nice camp where there's water. Usually a bunch of elk on that big mountain right there. They move up and down that slope. Used to be anyway. I know a couple pretty successful guides that come in here and bring clients and kill an elk, because not many people know how to get right back in here. It's pretty tough because it looks like you're going through private property, but you're really not. They just made it look that way. And matter of fact, one of the guides that guides elk hunters in here and deer hunters, he's the one who told me how to get in here, because, you know, he said, hey, well, we walked in there and on our way out, he said there was a lion track over the top of our tracks. And I've cut lion tracks in here several times. And I also caught a big old tom in here. I started him way back, oh, I don't know, several miles back that way. Trailed him all day one day. Came back in the next day and cut across, tried to cut him off. And sure enough, I hit it right, and he'd killed a big old cow elk. And I went and caught him. I say I did. Booger and Al and Rusty, I don't know. The dogs went and caught him. I went and looked at him. I didn't harvest him. Politically correct term, harvest. I didn't kill the sucker. Why do you say harvest? It's not like you're going out to the garden or out in your alfalfa thing and harvesting your alfalfa or something. Politically correct. We all get into it, I guess. Lots of game in here. Elk, deer. There's some cows in here too. I haven't seen a lion track though. There might be one right around the corner. And a lot of times, this little creek bottom has water in it. That's what I was kind of hoping, is that there would be water down here, and then I could find a nice open level spot, right, maybe right below that saddle, because that saddle's where I camped before. And what was nice about that saddle is there was cell phone service up there. There's some water, but it's not enough. That's Jazz too, coming right out of this water hole. They got the happy tail. Just give me a little happy tail. They're wiggling it back and forth. They really like it. We'll see. It's probably a fox. Right there is a bear track. Right there, right there, right there. He probably came down to get a drink of water there, and those dogs could smell him on that rock. No! Pee! Pee! They're probably on this rock again. See ya. Pee's not usually bad about wanting to trail a bear. I thought I seen another track there too. I wasn't completely sure. Yeah. That bear's still down here. Who's that? That's Iris. Don't want to be running no stinky bears. If they are trailing him, they're trailing him backwards. So that's good. Because I don't want to run a bear. I'll be looking for my dogs for 3 days. But I thought I seen another track in there. Looked like a lion track. I could be making it up. Those pups might change their mind about running a bear if they run up here and find one. They might think, ooh, we're not bear dogs. Ooh. Now we got to head right up through there. We're going to go right up that hill And then that big saddle is where I want to go. And I just got cell phone service. Ruining my wilderness experience. There he is again. A bear's been a lot of places in here. Watch out, Chaz. Right there. That's a different bear. That's a smaller bear right there. And they do have some big old Boone and Crockett rattlesnakes up here. Should be too cold for them though. Maybe up here on top that pond's got water in it. If it did, it wouldn't be a bad place, I don't think. I need to look at it again. Like I said, I camped there one time before. Look at those quail. I call them fool's quail. They'll jump out right underneath your mule. Look at them. Ah, those are cool. His horns go way on up there. That's pretty high. For those that don't know, that's where a bull elk was rubbing his horns on that little sapling there. Oh, I forgot to film it. I picked up my game camera. I had a game camera up here for forever, right here by this saddle on a game trail. Of course, the battery's dead, and I don't have a reader with me, so I can't see what the SD card holds, but I will share it right now. All right, pretty cool, huh? I need to put out more and more of those I need to put out more and more of those cameras, I guess. Trying to get an idea of what's moving through the country. Never know, I might get a picture of an alien or a Sasquatch or a jaguar. Yes, sir, here we are. This is that saddle. Now, I camped here one time before, and it has a lot of things that I like. It has a big old meadow right here. You could hobble your mules, a lot of grass. I know a lot of people back east don't know that's grass, but that old brown grass like that, I think it's grammar grass, they call it. It's pretty nutritious. And there's lots of firewood. But, and you got cell service up here. That's an advantage in this country. And it's super good lion country. But, water. I don't want to pack water. unless I have to. Now there's a pond, a dirt tank right over here. If it has water in it, then I could pack my tent up here and set it up. No, it's dry as a popcorn fart. Jeez. The creek down below is dry. And that's dry. Well, it was worth a try. At least I got my camera out of here. I'll show you where I camped before. I made a video. See, this fence has a cowboy gate right up the way there that not many people know about. So you don't have to tear down the fence and build it back up to get through. You can go through that cowboy gate. Let me see, last time when I camped, I'll recognize it, I think. Come on. It was right there. Right in those trees right there. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I think, matter of fact, right now I'm gonna tie these mules up and I'm gonna eat a little lunch. Yes, sir? It's a nice place. I tell you what, the advantages of it is I know this country real well. And if you got your hounds, you can go that way, that way, that way, back that way. There's lots of big old circles you can make right in here, all in real good country. But I gotta have water. I don't want to pack water. Guess I could if I had to. I don't know. There's other places. We'll keep looking. Do I sit in the sun or the shade? They're a little bit tired. It's a pretty good climb up to this spot. I think I'll sit right on the edge of the sun in the shade. How about that? This place has everything it takes to be a good camp. It's remote, and yet not too hard to get to. I mean, I don't know what it takes me, probably a couple hours to ride to this spot. And there's no easy access to it. Not many people know how to get here. If there had been many people here, my game camera wouldn't have been here any longer. One of those thieving deer hunters or elk hunters would have stolen it. Look at that country. Every time I have a view like this or I'm up here like this, I think about that Dale Goo in Jeremiah Johnson.
Ain't this something? I told my pap and mam I was coming to the mountains to trap and be a mountain man. Acted like they was gut shot. Says, son, make your life go here. Here's where the people's is. Them mountains is for animals and savages. I said, Mother Goo, the Rocky Mountains is the marrow of the world.
Ah, yep. The marrow of the world. Hello. Wow. Dogs all got mad at me. They had a major breakout last night. So the ones that broke out, I put them on the chain gang. It's just a cable with some tie outs on it. Let me tell you what, they have ordinances in town and cities and stuff about not tying your dogs out. And to an extent I can see that, because there's a lot of people who will take dogs and tie them out and then they don't ever do anything with them. Those dogs are always on a leash and they stay, or on a chain, tied out, and you know, and then you put some of those protection type breeds on a chain, after a while they get mean. Now I can see where the ordinance would be a benefit for that, but for those of us who have hounds, I think it's real important for them to learn to be tied out. I used to not do it much. Well, I say I used to. Back a long time ago when I was in the mountains, I had my dogs tied out, and that was for, I mean, I hunted all the time back then. So they were always getting out. And that's the main thing. I kennel my dogs now. I put them in kennels. But then we break them all to tie out on the chain. Or I call it a chain gang. It's a cable tie out. And it's good for them, because then if they ever get hung up anywhere, they know to give to that pressure and to not fight it. And then also if you're out and you need to tie them up, and so you can go somewhere, or you want to leave some dogs and take other dogs, you tie them up overnight, you're camped out somewhere, you can do it. It doesn't hurt them. They learn some patience, and they learn, would it be discipline? You know, last week I rode up to Geronimo's cave up there, and all this has kind of come back to me since I had my heart problems. I remember years ago when I was young, all these places fascinated me, and this is another place that fascinated me. I remember the first four-wheel drive I had. I bought my wife, my first wife, I bought her a Ford Bronco, one of the little ones, the old ones. This had to be about 1986, something like that. It was her car, but I got to use it. And first thing I did is I ran out here to the hills in it, took it up a big old four-wheel drive trail, and put a rock in the sidewall, popped a tire. But anyway, it was about that same time frame. I had a horse that I called Huggy. Big old nice gelding. Huggy was a quarter horse. And I broke him and trained him. It was back, it was back when I didn't know anything about mules. I'd never rode a mule, never had a mule or nothing. But he was a good mountain horse. He got around good and was strong. And I took him deer hunting by myself, and I rode him all around these desert hills back then. This is back in the 80s. And a lot of the time, I got in a kick. I guess I got in a kick where I read all these treasure tales about these. There's some pretty famous treasure stories from around this area, and so I would go and see if I could find signs. And I always had a couple dogs with me, and you know, just not much different than I've always been. Just needing to get out. I had to get out. And so, that's old Ding Dong Jack. So, looking for treasure was just another excuse to get out. And this place right up here is where I used to come up here and ride. And I found all these, what do you call them? Indian, I always want to say pictographs, but it's not pictographs, it's petroglyphs. Indian petroglyphs. It's where they ride on the rocks and they leave their little designs and all that kind of stuff. And there's some that are pretty well known that are real accessible. But I found some that were further up the mountain, and you had to climb through these rocks underneath them, and they were written in red. They weren't carved into the rock. They used some kind of a dye or whatever, something that they used. What in the world? Something they got, and they dyed the. Hey, get out of here! Quit it! Javelina. Since I was so rudely interrupted, these hounds found a javelina down there. They just had to get a little education on it. For those that don't know, these collars that I put on these dogs, they're not just to track. I don't use them the way a lot of guys use them that, you know, that hunt out of vehicles and snow hunt or bear hunt back east or however they do it. I don't just ride around in a buggy or whatever, or with my handheld on a mule even, and look at that thing to see where they're at. I use them for rescue, or if I get bluffed up and I can't find my dogs, I have to go look for them. You know, I can usually find them with that deal. It's kind of a safety feature, but it also has a shock collar built into it. So you break your dogs off of trash, like any unwanted game, javelina, anything you don't want them to run. Me, I really, all I want to run is a cat. You know, I'll let them run a bobcat, and I won't shock them for running a fox. I'll let them run a fox. And but typically I just want them to trail lions. And I don't run bears. I don't like to hunt bears. So but down here in the desert, I don't worry. I don't have to worry about bears down here. Anyway, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Oh, about being a little kind of an amateur treasure hunter. So I was all over these hills back then. I wish there was YouTube back then, but there wasn't. And I didn't have a video camera or anything anyway. Like I said, it was more of just an excuse to be able to get out. I love to get out and be out and about. But, so I found those petroglyphs, I think is what they call them. Anyway, after I got back from Geronimo's cave the other day, I got thinking, well, that was fun. I enjoyed going and seeing that. I hadn't seen it in years. So I thought, well, shoot. This is right behind my house. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably a 4 or 5 mile ride back behind my house. I don't even have to use my truck or trailer. I don't have to load up. I can just saddle up, turn some dogs loose, and here we go. So, where's Timmy? So that's what I did. The weather was just, I mean, for the desert, 27 degrees this morning, and right now it's only like 52 degrees. It's no, I think it's only 47 degrees. I can check. Let me check. Got my little sensor denser deal. Well, it says 62 degrees, but the high was only supposed to get to 57 today, but 62 degrees still. That's beautiful in this old desert. I love it. So I thought, well, I'll get some dogs out, even though we had the breakout this morning of those other hounds, and saddle up old Big Agnes and head up here to the mountain. First, there's some more well-known petroglyphs in this canyon up here, and me and my wife hiked up here to look at them one time. And I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of my wife interpreting the petroglyphs, what the Indians meant when they were writing those rocks. Me, myself, I think they were just set there as the Indians were set there as a guard, or, you know, said, the old chief said, hey, I guess they were Indians back then. The old chief said, hey, you sit in this canyon, you watch for anybody coming up here, and if they come up here, you know, send up smoke signals or let us know or something. And those guys would get bored and they would carve on those rocks. That's what I think. She says it means all kinds of different things. She gets a little far out there sometimes. Those petroglyphs are right over there in those rocks. That's the ones I think a lot of people know about. Got down to 27 degrees last night, so I shouldn't have to worry about rattlesnakes. You know, it's always a possibility, but I don't think so. I gotta find a place where I can climb up in there. Yeah, there we go. They're up in there somewhere. Since I rode to this location out of the yard, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I should tie Agnes up. She's a pretty good mule, but she knows the way back to the house, and that's where her buddies are, so I don't want to be left on foot up here, so I'm going to go ahead and tie her up just to be careful, or just to be safe. Stay put, Agnes. It's okay. Come here, Pete. Come here, Pete. Come here, buddy. Think it means anything? And how old are they? Look at that. I don't know if I'll fit. I think this is new. Oh no, that's a spaceship. That's new. This would be a good lookout though. Hey, wait, I heard it. Get over here. I don't know where it's at. I heard a snake. But where? He must be cold. Where was he? It'd be terrible to have a snake right there strike you like in the Western movies. I know I heard him. Maybe I'm just a little boogery right now. It's awfully cold for a snake. I would hope. Anyway, I could see this being a place for a lookout. I didn't know those Indians knew English. Maybe that was just a rock I heard. But I could see just sitting here waiting to keep an eye out in case anybody came. A lookout spot. Here's where the good ones are. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at that. What does it mean? I wonder what Graham Hancock would say, or Joe Rogan. What a maze in here. Oh, look at it. Looks like a hand. This is, oh, there's lots of these little ziggly lines. And then that, I've seen that somewhere before. Like little antlers and an eye. I've seen that before somewhere in a book or something. The head, little ears or antlers or horns, and an eye. That's pretty cool. There's another one right there. there. Look at that. I can just see that Indian sitting right here like this, doodling. I mean, do. What do those lines mean? And then the circles. Look at the circles connected. Circle, connected, circle, connected, circle, connected, 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 not connected, not connected, not connected. Strange. See some, I think so. What do you think? You think that's old or do you think that's new? I don't know. It points up here. There's buried gold up here. And then most all of them are on this side of the rocks, which would be the east side of the rocks. That's because that's like they're waiting for an ambush down there. See, none on the west facing rocks. Now we'll ride up this canyon. It's a long old ride, but we'll make it up to the top. And then there's some more ridings out in the open that everybody knows about. And then if I can find them, I'll have to hike around up there, but you go underneath some rocks. And then there's some, it's written in like a red dye or paint or whatever under. I had a little problem yesterday. Right after I got up to the canyon and was filming the petroglyphs in the canyon, my camera quit working. It said the SD card was full, but it wasn't full. But what it was is I had deleted everything, but I hadn't emptied my trash on my computer, and I guess that still tells it that it's full. I don't know. It was a bad day anyway. The dogs had gotten out. The dogs had ran a javelina and got it caught. Or they stopped it. They didn't catch it, I guess. Uno got cut up. Timmy got cut up. So I just abandoned the mission. But I'm heading out this morning. This is the very next day. And you can look and see I'm going to that mountain right there. Right there, that big mountain. This is all right behind my place, so. I gotta saddle up Big Agnes and take off. All right, yesterday just didn't work out. I guess I got a female dog in season. And I had 6 dogs out that morning. And some of them had been fighting. I mean, not bad. Like I've had, when I had those Airedales, man, they could fight. Nah, these hounds, they just kind of rough each other up a little bit. My grandson showed up and I just told him, put him on the chain gang. And he did. Got up there, I don't know, just about a mile from the house here. Jumped a stinking javelina. And that javelina, these dogs, they got caught up to him, and I couldn't get my shocker out in time. Finally, I got it out, and you know, the older dogs, they really probably wouldn't have chased him, but the young dogs started it, and of course they fell right in. And I got to shock a bunch of them, but Uno and Timmy got cut up a little bit. So I had to doctor them, and I had my grandson come up and pick them up. And then I continued riding up through there, and I got up to the canyon that leads up to the big mountain. See, there's the big mountain right there, and that's where I'm going to. Where all those other ridings were, and I filmed most of those. And then my SD card said it was full on my camera. And I couldn't erase anything, so I said, you know, today's just not working out. I got tomorrow. So I just came on back. So now this is the next day. But I still got some hound dogs with me. And I got my famous mule, Big Agnes. Anyway, here we go. Onward and upward. That is the watchword. We'll drop down in here and ride right on up that canyon, up to the big mountain. And if I remember correctly, those extra drawings or those other petroglyphs that I found is right on this side of the mountain, about a quarter of the way up. See if I can get my mule. See if I can ride my mule up close. We'll see. Here we go. It's a funny thing, prior to COVID, I come up here all the time. You never would see hardly any tracks. You wouldn't see nothing. And during COVID, and then now after COVID, everybody comes up here. And they got these bicyclers that have these trails built all over these little canyons and hills. And pretty neat trails, really. Looks like fun. But prior to COVID, they didn't do that. I mean, there was a few, but not like it is now. And then now the buggies and everything, the ATVs or UTVs, whatever you want to call them, they're all over up here. I'm going to ride up to the top right there, that hill. I want to show you something that has to do with that book I read about the treasure. See if we can see it from up there. You can't see it from here. These little hills, I think, it talks about 3 peaks of about the same size towards the rising sun. And then an aloma, which is kind of a bald little hill. And I think... Jack. I have no idea what they're after. It's sandy though, I can find the track. Probably a rabbit. Anyway, but that was supposed to be an indication of where that treasure was. I will find the book and read it to you. How he says it, and the name of the book, and then the author and all that stuff. I can't remember it right now. But yeah, and then there's that mountain right there.
In Solday Canyon, there is a natural cave on the brow of a hill opening toward the south. There is a cross cut into the rock above the entrance of the cave and directly in front of a young juniper tree. For better directions, there are 3 medium-sized peaks toward the rising sun, whose shadows converge in the morning 250 paces east of the cave's entrance, and a little to the south. 250 paces from this point, directly north, you will come to a promontory, a loma, from where, by looking straight ahead, you can see the Jornado del Muerto as far the eye can see. The distance from this point back to the cave should be exactly the same as the distance, the place where the shadows converge. 100 paces from the entrance of the cave, down to the nearby arroyo, and in line with the point of convergence, you will find a dripping spring. The entrance to the cave has been covered to a depth of a man's height, and 10 varas beyond the entrance of it, there is an adobe wall which must be taken down. At the bottom of a long tunnel, the cave separates into 2 parts. The left cave contains coined silver, more than 2 atajos can carry. The right cave contains golden chandeliers, urns, crucifixes, gold images, and monstrances of beaten gold.
I can't remember where it was. There's lots of big boulders there. I'll just have to ride around and look and see if I can recognize anything familiar. We'll see. There's that exact same foot again. I think the W and the S up above are pretty much new ones. Look at, there's a foot with a little arch over the top of it. And there's a big foot up there. What the heck do they mean? Now there it looks like a mushroom with 4 dots over the top of it. They're a little more sophisticated than just regular doodles, aren't they? Go see if we can find those ones in the cave hole up there. All I remember, it was underneath. You climbed up underneath some rocks. And it was shaded in there, or dark. It wasn't a cave, but it was rocks stacked on top of each other, kind of like that right there. I think I found some. I'm not sure. I found some drawings. I don't think they're the same ones I knew from before. Get my flashlight. Oh, I forgot. There's channels that do reviews of stuff, you know. They do flashlights and knives and whatever. I don't really do that. But I had this OLIGHT get a hold of me and offer to send me a flashlight. They were going to send me this great big one. And I said, no, I said, that probably wouldn't do me much good because I need something that's lightweight or smaller. I don't want to pack a big old flashlight with me. So they sent me this little one. It's a Seek 100. I've never had, watch it, Agnes. I've never had fancy flashlights. I've always bought my flashlights like at Walmart. And, you know, $10, $15. This one costs $125 on Amazon. And I've used it. I've never used it in a video before. And I've used it, but usually when I go out and check the dogs at night, or I have to go outside for something at night, I use it, and I'm not videoing then. But now I think I can use it to maybe illuminate this, what I think is some Indian drawings. We'll see. And now I don't think this is the big one that I found before, but I bet the big one is close. But these fancy lights are hard to turn on. Hey! Look at that. That's pretty nice. Now, see, is that natural? It's nowhere else. Maybe that looks like one. Is that natural? Is that written in there? I don't see any other ones. No, that's not natural. I don't think. There we go. I don't know. See, and that's an old tree. Remember, there was something about an old tree or something. Should have brought a metal detector. I'm gonna go look for another one. Oh, and I forgot to say, they gave me a discount code. So if you use the discount code, I think you get 10% off. It'll be in the description. And then if you get 10% off, I get 10% of the purchase price. So that helps out the channel. Like I said, I like it. It's a fancy little light. It's a Seek 3 Pro from OLIGHT. It's pretty weighty. It's nice. I'm sure the one that I found before had more drawings in, didn't just have lines. If I remember right, it had like little men, stick men and stuff. I don't know. And it seemed like I remembered a tree, but that don't necessarily mean anything. My memory's not the best in the world. And it was bigger. Now, you didn't have to get down so low to see it. And it was like it was covered with another rock. It was like a crack underneath one rock with another rock laying over it. But I just can't remember exactly where. I mean, what a maze. Look at all this stuff here. Man, if I was going to draw, I'd draw on that rock right over there. You could hide an army up here. Found it. This has got to be it. Look at this. It's even got writing on the outside. And to me, this writing looks different. Now, I've seen in the treasure books this symbol before, and it's supposed to mean something. And then look at this. I mean, this is drawn like a little squiggly line here, and then comes up to a cross. Is that a doodle? Or is that actually mean something? And then here we go. I'm sure this is it. Yep. It's got to be. Yep. Oh, look at where they drilled. And they made those little deals in the rocks. Look at that. And look at how deep that one. And then here, watch this. Oh, there they are. There they are. Look at that. What does that mean? There's some more right there. And what is that written with? It's red. All the other ones are like etched out on the rock. And these are just written with some kind of red dye or, paint or whatever. Oh, they gotta mean something. And there's someone that scratched CA on the rock. It happens every time. You think you're way out here in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's going to find this, although there is a little old road that comes up through here. People come up here, but not as many as you think. The four-wheelers, and usually they're out just, or four-wheelers, side-by-sides, UTVs, whatever you want to call them. They're usually out here just buzzing around, having a good time in their buggy. So they don't get up, and they don't get out of their buggy much. But someone came up here and put CA on the rock. Oh, right there's more. Hey guys, get out of my face. Get. You guys, I'm okay. I'd like to find some arrowheads. No. There's some more right there. Those are kind of getting faded, huh? Haha, there's probably writings all over up through here. Here in a minute, I'll show you. I'm gonna build me a fire and heat me up some lunch. And here in a minute, I'll show you the 3 peaks towards the rising sun. All about the same size. There's some more I didn't see up there. And right there. Ooh. Right there. And then right here. Just doodling. There's those there's those lines again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's build a fire and have some lunch. I brought beef heart today. It's already cooked. I cooked it the other day, but it's cold. Beef heart's not good unless it's heated up. Oh, Big Agnes. That was good, huh? Sorry, guys, but onward and upward. It's going to be hard to tell from this angle, but there's 3 peaks. Not that one to the far right, but there's that one that's in front of the big one, back. There's 1, 2, 3. And see, 1, 2, 3. And the legend says that legend or whatever you want to say, says that there's 3 peaks towards the rising sun. So you got to understand, I was living down in the valley down there, and I looked out my window and seen the sun come up, and I could see those 3 peaks. It says 3 peaks of about the same size towards the rising sun. And then they said there's an aloma, which is kind of a little bald hill, like this little hill here, that one over there, that one over there. There's a bunch of alomas. I'll read it to you though, but those are the peaks right there. I got excited. And there is a mine shaft over here that I found, but anyway, I never found any treasure, but I sure had a good time out here looking. Still hunting. Treasure, lions, whatever. Adventure. Ooh, mule. Yes, sir. It was a good day.